Welcome to Tech and Culture. My name is Said Aiboka, a brand and corporate communication specialist. Today I want to discuss with you from oil field to life field. What are the strategy, lessons, and patience we can learn from this? Nigeria is rated as the ninth country in the world when it comes to the deposit of crude oil. And sometimes we revolve around either the first or second in Africa, most times after Algeria. And our export earnings, Nigeria makes 90% of its export earnings from crude oil. Also, you would also like to know that in Nigeria, crude oil or oil and gas contribute at least 10% to our GDP. What this simply means is that crude oil is one of the lifelines of Nigerians and Nigeria also as a state. And when this happens, you have deposit of crude oil, you also have oil fields. So from the topic I've mentioned, oil fields to life fields. When you are issued the license to operate in an oil field after your seismic map has been done and you are certain to a large extent that there is deposit of crude oil in this particular area, the first thing you do as a developer is for you to do what is called the exploration well. You need to drill an exploration well. In all the oil well, all different types of wells you drill, the most expensive is this exploration well. In Nigeria, even outside Nigeria, it can cost you between $25 to $30 million. And at this point, the only essence of drilling is not to make money. It's for you to drill, to gather information, to gather data. Number one, at what depth will you get to the crude oil? Number two, what is the quality of the crude oil? The seismic map has already told you there is even a deposit here, but what is the quality of that particular crude oil? And at the same time, what is also the depth and what is also the topography of the land in that particular area? Basically, your exploration well is about data gathering, and you don't make a kobo from drilling an exploration well, because at that particular point, you've not even connected your oil field to a flow station. So you are not to make money, it's just to gather data. That is the first step. And there are 3 stages of different drillings you need to experience before you now start making money when you are developing your oil field. The second type of wells we are also going to drill is called the appraisal wells. For example, you have a 4-corner, you've drilled 1 well at 1 corner, you drill additional 3 wells at different places within your particular oil field. At this point, what you want to also underscore is what is the quantity of the oil that is deposited here. That is why your appraisal wells, you need to spread them as much as possible. Appraisal wells also, at least you're going to spend about $20 million on each of them. And at this point, you are also not making a kobo. It is just for you to gather information, to gather data. Then once you've gathered sufficient data that tells you that now you can proceed to the next stage, you now go to developmental wells. At that point, you will be connected to the flow station where they sieve water from the crude oil, where they distill your crude and it goes to the refinery or it goes to the shore where they can now export them. Basically, you spend close to about $100 million before you even start making money. So one thing you need to learn from this is patience. For the skill you also want to acquire and use in your life to earn money, for you to be a money getter, you have to be a problem solver. So that particular skill with which you want to solve problems, you need to acquire that skill first. And at that point, you are investing. Like in oil field, you were also investing without reaping when you were at your exploration well. So later on, probably you are done with university, you now need to go to some particular places to get some add-on skills. Then you explore. At that point, you have your appraisal wells. You are still putting money into it and you are still not making sufficient money. At some point, probably you are making a few money. But once you get to the peak of your career, at the point of your developmental wells, and you have fully cultivated your skill, then at that point, you now start making money. One of the paradox in the oil field is that this entire money you've spent, about $100 million that you spent, you can make that money if you hit good wells in your developmental wells. It's the money you can cover in a matter of months. But don't forget, you were sweating and investing in drilling those particular wells at some stage. The same way you are sweating and also persevering now that you're also acquiring your skill. But at the end of the day, the entire funds you use in acquiring that skill, in nurturing the metric of that skill into maturity, is something you can make within just 1 or 2 or 3 deals later on. So I tell you to be strategic, I tell you to be patient, and I tell you to go for growth. And that is what one of the lessons we can learn from developing an oil field. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode.